Welcome back to Herbal Product Technology and Regulatory Science. Now we are moving to the final unit, that is unit 12, GMP of Indian Medicinal System. This entire unit will be divided in these 4 segments: concept of good manufacturing practices, basic principle behind GMP, licensing provision overview, and then GMP technical qualification and requirements. We will understand what is the concept of GMP. Already we have learned in the previous unit about the GMP, but now we will see with some examples how the GMP is having significance in herbal drug industry. GMP is the system that ensures products are manufactured according to quality standards. It minimizes risk involved in pharmaceutical production that cannot be eliminated by testing alone. GMP guidelines are principle based, not rigid manufacturing instructions. Last time also I have told you that it is up to the manufacturer to obey those guidelines. If the manufacturer is providing a quality product with its own tailored guidelines, then the GMP guidelines will not be mandatory. Manufacturers can adopt suitable methods to comply with GMP principle. For example, if manufacturer is providing a quality product by its own parameter and those parameters are not listed in GMP guidelines, then also it is acceptable. Responsibility lies with manufacturer to design effective quality system. This quality system should give a quality product. The main emphasis is on patient safety and product efficacy. We will see what are the main objectives of GMP guidelines. It ensures authenticity and quality of raw material used in the drug manufacturing. For that, what type of raw material need to be procured and how it need to be processed, all the parameters are considered. Authenticity of raw material can be evaluated by biological parameters or chemical parameters or physical parameters or the combination of all of three. It governed by its process of manufacturing of the final product. Second objective is maintain prescribed manufacturing process for consistency. A process should be developed such that anyway the product of the same quality should be prepared at every batch level. That is the main objective of the GMP guidelines. If the product quality is variable, then a patient will not have trust in the product. That will impact the product cycle later on. To adopt adequate quality control measures at all stages. This is a very important objective of GMP guidelines. The quality parameters and quality attributes need to be measured at every step, be it the raw material testing till the final product testing as well as packaging of the raw material and finished product. Every stage, every component need to be evaluated and quality need to be assessed, and GMP guidelines provide a significant backbone for these evaluations. To release only safe and effective finished product for sale. The safety of the patient is a most priority for any manufacturer, and that is why whenever a product goes into the market, supposed to be safe than efficacious. Hence, GMP guidelines provide a firm base for the preparation and distribution of safe quality product, to document and standardize all manufacturing procedures. In earlier unit, we have seen that the documentation is very much important when we talk about a pharmaceutical product. Herbal products are not devoid of that requirement. Herbal products also need a documentation to prove that the procedures been followed. Hence, GMP also give us a template of the documents which need to be followed throughout the product cycle. Authenticity and quality of raw material. Raw materials must be genuine and sourced from reliable supplier. That gives a good quality product later on. Materials should comply with the pharmacopoeial or approved standard. All the raw material may not be have pharmacopoeial standard. Hence, it been seen with the many manufacturer that they derive their own specification and standard for some of the raw material what they procured from the different suppliers. Many times supplier himself or herself also provide the specification as per the requirement of the manufacturer. Protection from contamination during storage is essential. Contamination can happen from the different sources. A sources, something like a pest, is very common in case of a raw material, and that is why a protection of a raw material from pest is mandatory. Apart from that, a microbial contamination, fungal contamination, these are a common contamination can happen to the raw material, as raw material belongs to biological product. Hence, GMP guidelines also give you a firm base for protection of a raw material to maintain the quality of the final product. Testing and approval before use ensure consistent product quality. Testing is important for the final product as well as for the in process and a raw material. The testing procedures need to be properly documented and revised as needed, which can give you a good quality statement of the product. And last but not the least is the labeling requirements. Labels state the final product procedure approval. After reading the label, the patient or the consumer get to know the quality of the final substance. Hence, proper labeling and identification of a raw material also mandatory in your process. Hence, proper labeling and identification of a raw material is mandatory. Manufacturing process control. Manufacturing process should follow approved classical or proprietary formulation. For example, tablet, capsule or any other modern formulation is come under the proprietary formulations. Critical steps must be monitored and documented. Now, here we will take an example of a preparation of Asava or Arista. Asava and Arista are considered to be hydroalcoholic formulations. In traditional way, they are being prepared by a fermentation process. But on large scale, it is difficult to get the desired hydroalcoholic preparation in a stipulated time period. Hence, many of the time the required quantity of alcohol being added in the formulation to get the required alcoholic concentration. As per the GMP guidelines, the 10 to 12% alcohol is permitted in the hydroalcoholic preparations, and when they are being added, they need to be added in a sufficient quantity to make not more than 12%. This is a critical step in the preparation of asavas and arista. Hence, such steps need to be monitored properly and controlled to get the good quality product. Standard operating procedure ensure uniformity. The SOPs need to be maintained and need to be controlled every location. If the product is being manufactured at different locations, then the procedures on all the locations supposed to be same. Otherwise, the consistency in quality will not be maintained. Hence, SOP need to be formalized and uniform to keep the product quality constant. Any deviation in process should be investigated. Here we will take the example of a tablet formulation. If the procedure says that the raw material after weighing need to be sieved and the required size particle powder need to be used further for tableting, then the procedure need to be followed in the same order. Deviation in the order can lead to a disaster to the quality of the product. Hence, such deviation need to be well documented and corrective and preventive action should be mentioned along with those deviations. Process control ensure batch to batch consistency. Quality is not the outcome, but it is a continuous process. Quality need to be maintained with every batch, and hence process control give the tool to maintain the quality on every batch level. Quality control measures. Quality control ensure safety, purity and efficacy of the drugs. Testing is conducted at a raw material, in process and finished product stage in every manufacturing unit. Pharmacopoeial standards guide testing procedure. As we discussed, if every raw material or finished product is not mentioned into the pharmacopoeial text, then the manufacturer can develop their own standards and parameters for testing. But as per the GMP, it is mandatory to have a testing parameters for all the products. In-house or approved external laboratories may be used. It is not a mandatory to have the evaluation testing system available in the same premises where it is being produced. Manufacturer can lay in the sample testing operations outside the premises, but the premises where the evaluation will be taken place and the facility what they are going to use should be as per the GMP guidelines mentioned. Quality control decision determine batch release. Finally, the 100% qualified product only allowed to reach into the market. Hence, the quality parameters need to be evaluated regularly. Release of a finished product. Only approved batches are released for the sale. Finished products must meet labeling and packaging requirements. Documentation ensure traceability of each batch. Hence, the documentation need to be maintained till the expiry of the product. Quality verification safeguards consumer health. Approved storage prevents deterioration before distribution. For that, the manufacturer should prescribe the storage condition properly onto the labels. Many times product get deteriorated on a shelf because of the improper storage conditions. Herbal products rarely finds the deterioration on the shelf because of their good mobility in the market. But still, If such products are having a larger shelf life in particular condition, those conditions need to be mentioned on the label itself. Documentation and manuals. GMP requires well documented manufacturing procedures. Manuals provide reference during inspections. Records help trace product history. Documentation ensure accountability and transparency of the procedure, and it supports regulatory audits and inspection. Thank you.